is you need to examine where you're proactive and where you're reactive, because you can't see it when you're in it. And until you write it down, can you get it out of here where the struggle resides onto the pages? Use these journals to track your daily, I'll call it habits, okay, and progress. We go back and forth. We have progress, we're doing really well, and then we have something that comes up where we realize we still have some work to do. It's true with all of us, all right? So one just takes longer than the other. And all I want to say about that, I've got one word for that, in my opinion. Ouch. One takes longer than the other. Oh my gosh. I don't want things to take longer. I want to get through them. I want to move through them, and I want to live the life I intended, not something where I'm holding back and I'm resisting whatever's coming in my way, and I'm not trusting my guidance. I'm not trusting myself. I doubt, or something like that. Okay, so those are the kind of things you need to write down in your journal so you can begin to catch yourself doing it. You are your own parent now. Okay? It'll move you right out of being reactive to proactive and living the life you intended, the one you planned with your spirit guides before you came here. If you're making a change that you're not real committed to, you won't stick with it. Okay, that's another place where when you write it down, you guys, the power in writing down what you're working out in your life. We're all on this journey together, okay? We're all working something out. Or you want to know what? You wouldn't be here. It's as simple as that. If you were done with all this, you would be gone. You'd be done. You would have been released from your body, and you would be back where you started before this life, okay?
So I think a lot of people have trouble figuring out if they're reactive or proactive.
I think so.
I think everybody's a little bit of both, but
absolutely,
they lean one way or the other.
Or there's times when you're proactive, you're all in, you've got this thing. And then sometimes, I don't know, something happens, you get tired, or you have a setback and you get reactive, and you know, something happens in the world and it really bothers you and you react. Okay, setback, but it's hard to, being in this world, that's an easy thing to fall back into, okay? That's for sure. We've all learned that in the last year and a half, right? Yeah.
Yeah, take a look back at, how you were 12 to 18 months ago.
Right.
Before everything changed, okay? Think about the things you did then, and then what happened to make them stop. What you did is you reacted to this pandemic or this, the lockdowns, the this, the that, that came along. That was reactive on most people. They didn't think it through.
You didn't really, it wasn't fair. You didn't have a chance to think it through.
Right.
It was like a bomb was dropped on everybody around the world. How the heck could you think it through? You had to see it through. You had to move through it with everybody, like all of us did, and still are, okay? It's not like everything's gone back to normal, right?
Nothing's ever going back to normal.
Yeah, so this thing about being proactive or reactive, I got to tell you something. You got to start writing down what's going on with you. That's proactive. I don't care how angry you are about what you're writing. It's still proactive. I don't care how clear you are. Of course you're proactive. Okay. Even when you're reactive, when you take the moment, the 15 minutes a day to write down what's bugging you, what's causing you to react, you're proactive with your reaction.
Yeah, this whole thing, the biggest gift that humans have is free will.
It is.
Okay? I don't know how many other species have it, free will.
Right.
I mean,
It's true, Ray.
Yeah, you choose to do something or not do it. I think a lot of it is based on the words you use. You hear somebody say something on TV, a fear bomb, comes out. Oh, there's all these new variants of the virus,
Or whatever it happens to be.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Uh,
Somebody shot a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Whatever it happens to be. Okay.
Right.
There's all kinds of trauma and drama going on for your entertainment. Okay.
Right, exactly.
Much of it. So is it really that much fun to the reporters, the news anchors, to tell all these gory stories to you? But you know what? There's a reason the news channels do that. There's a number of reasons why they do that. But one is to entertain you.
and the other one is to keep you in fear.
Well, that's right. Control you, and entertain you. You wouldn't watch the news if it wasn't newsworthy. I mean, what's newsworthy anymore? The truth? No. The fear, all the hype, and all the terrible things that happen. Okay.
Yeah.
And the way they're trying to bend you to think. Okay. That's you guys, you got to write this stuff down. You can't have any control over your life. And believe me, you have free will. You have all the control. They may be saying you don't have the control and this will happen to you and this. No. Start writing down what's going on with you for 15 minutes a day. And that's control in itself. Okay? That would scare the controllers to see that you're doing this.
Okay.
That's how I grew up at 7 years old, because I grew up in a horrendous childhood. The only control I really had was when I had this conversation with myself, a conversation. And when I did that, my guidance came through and infiltrated my writing. I would see where their wisdom was coming through like automatic writing. You guys, once you start doing this, it's going to be contagious. Okay? You're going to love doing this every day, but do it in a quiet place where no one is around, or it won't work. And never show anybody what you're writing in your journals, or you'll start to water down what you're writing. And that'll defeat the entire purpose of doing it.
So you have a choice to be, first thing the guide said, you have a choice to be proactive or reactive. So the reactive person really doesn't have to think much. They just react to what they're told.
They just blow up.
They just decide, well, yeah, somebody told me to do that, I'll do that.
Haphazard.
Right? I don't understand why we should do that, but, they're on TV and they're telling us.
They're not thinking for themselves. You know why they're not thinking for themselves? They're not writing it down. When you write it down, you cannot help but have this conversation with yourself and guidance. It's an opportunity for them to slip in and help you.
But if the average person uses words like, well, I should do that, or I could do that, or maybe I would do that, but that'll
never work.
Until you say, I will do that, are you exercising free will?
Absolutely. I'm on it. I've got this thing. I'm going there.
Okay, so your will, you heard the phrase, a strong-willed person. They have a strong will. They enforce their free will. They stick by their convictions.
And they get things done.
And then
they live the dream every single day.
Okay, so to the last point the guys talked about was contemplate where you are right now to determine how you want the rest of your life to go. Well, most people probably want the rest of their life to go a lot different than the way it's gone the last 18 months.
Right.
Okay, so what is that? I mean, first, you have to have a vision of it.
Yeah. Hello? You have to write it down. Write down what you see for your life. You guys, there's this thing about ask and you shall receive. This thing about asking ties right into where Ray's taken us.
Okay, so first thing you should do, write down, is what was your life like 12 to 18 months ago before all this chaos happened, right? How was it? How'd you feel about it? What did you do?
So ask yourself those questions
and write
them down.
Okay,
yes.
And then ask yourself, if 12 to 18 months from now nothing changes or gets worse, what is my life going to look like then?
Write that down.
Right. And you got to focus on the focus with intent on what you want your future to be.
The only way you can see what that is, see, you guys, you can't see it when you're in it. You can't. Your guides can see it. Your guides, my spirit guide, they can see it. That's why you need to be accessing this guidance to help you along to live the best life. Because you know what? They, your guides, your planned this life with you. They know exactly what you came here to do, but you got the amnesia. Okay, so they didn't get it. They don't have the amnesia. They didn't get that. So they have all the power to point you in the right direction. But you have free will. You have to choose to go that way or not. So how are you going to put this all together? Write it down. That's how I did it as a little kid. At 7 years old, I started writing in my journal about the messed up family I was in and how the hell am I going to get through this? What's going on here? Why am I stuck in this dysfunction? Why are they all working against me? What's going on? And I'll tell you what, when I was writing down in my journal, questioning why, I had all these questions, mostly why questions. Why? Little kids, that's what we do. We should do it as adults, by the way. And as I put all these whys down, the answers started coming through, and I said, wrote down. They didn't come from me. They came through me from guidance, from those who followed me here and guided me, hence the name of my flagship book, Guided, throughout my life. You guys have the same guidance. It's time to access it. You guys, we're in some pretty radical times. Very, very radical. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. You better start becoming conscious of yourself in the throes of the life that we're in. Because you know what? There's a reason you're here. And it's not just to get angry about what's going on and it's not fair and you can't go to dinner with your friends. No. You came here for a huge reason that you've been missing. Until you start writing it down, you've got the time to do it now. Write it down. In fact, here's what I want to encourage you to do. Start doing this for yourself and then show your kids how to do this. Show your grandkids how to do this. So they don't wind up mentally off. Because you know what? This will drive you nuts, the world we're in right now. If you don't have a solution, a method, a system, this is the guided journal writing system, a proprietary system that I created from writing Guided, from all the fans of Guided coming to me. Linda, I want to learn what Guided teaches. Bam, came these journals. This is it.
Okay, so we've determined a couple things, that it's easier to be a reactive person than it is to be a proactive person. Reactive persons like you like to say, the leading a pinball life. Like the pinball gets smacked this way and that way and ding, bang. Ding,
No
ding,
control
ding,
over
ding,
your life.
And then one day it just slides down into the hole. Okay.
Your fate,
Yeah, and then it gets snapped back out and banged around again.
You feel like you're going.
You feel like a pinball.
I know.
But the proactive person has a vision of their future that's different than how it is now. They're willing to make first of all, they're willing to take a stand. And
True.
Right. They're willing to take a stand for what they believe, and then they're willing to make the sacrifices in order to achieve what they envision.
That's right.
That's a lot of work.
No, it's not.
Well, it isn't. It is for a lot of people.
When your heart, here's why it's not a lot of work. When your heart is in what this is, whatever this is, like what Ray talked about, the way he expressed it, when you feel it in your heart, when it's part of your DNA, you got to see this thing through. How are you going to do it? You don't have there's things called business plan, all these plans people make. But until you know who you are and why you're here, that's where this is going to pay off for you in spades, okay? This is going to show you things that when you started writing, you never expected to see. You're going to be amazed, because you're going to be amazed at how well this works. The people that I've worked with, trained, and since these came out in 2018, they work in them every day, every single day. They never miss a day. Write your dreams down. Driving your car somewhere, you had this insight. Wow. You write it down, flush it out. There's 4 qualifying questions with each journal entry that these journals move you through. Write it down. And then once you write it down and really write the whole thing down, then the next question is, how did that make you feel? And I mean, the consciousness resides in the details. So writing down how it made you feel with detail, not just, oh, it's so nice, it was fine. No, you'll get nothing out of it. Don't even bother, okay? You've got to really write out the details of how it makes you feel, what you wrote down. And the third qualifying question is, what do you realize? That's the freebie. That just shows up once you move through how it felt and really discover how it felt and wrote down what that was. It's a freebie for the third qualifying question. You're going to know because you're going to realize something. And then the final question is, what action are you going to take? You could never even imagine the action if you didn't work through the process of writing it down and really drilling into how it feels, having that realization and the fire to move on it. That's the action. This journal writing system will change your life forever. You will have the answers when you need them. You won't flounder anymore. You won't think anything's wrong with you because nothing's wrong with you. But for any of you who don't know who I am and you're just hearing this for the first time, do read Guided first. This is how I did it. I have Guided's available on Amazon, iTunes, and Audible in paperback, Kindle, and audiobook, and I read the book myself, all right?